of all, I just want to say what an amazing lineup of speakers today. It's such an honor, Jamie and Leanne, to be in this company with so many great leaders. I mean, we heard them all speak today. Mauro, you always deliver an amazing message. That's why we call you the Godfather. But to all the speakers, it's been an amazing day. So I want to wrap this up and just share a little bit. Mauro said it best today. You're nothing without your team. And Steph and I wouldn't be where we're at today without the team, without this company, without everything. And so I want to share with you a little bit on entrepreneur mindset and mentality, because I was blessed maybe early on in my life to have the ability to be around a father who is an entrepreneur. Now, I wouldn't say he was always successful. He had his trials and errors, like I think everybody does, but there's a difference in mindset here. So I want to just share some of these different areas and slides with you. All right, so let's talk quickly about employee. Employee is a person employed for wages. And is there anything wrong with being an employee? Absolutely not. So one thing I always tell people is, we often came from that background. I'll talk a bit more about that, but it's somebody who's employed for wages. And there's a different mindset when you're being paid a wage for something. When you look at an entrepreneurial business, because an entrepreneur is a person that organizes and operates a business or businesses taking on greater than normal financial risk in order to do so. And so it's a different mindset. When you have a guaranteed paycheck, it's different than when you're looking at starting a business. Would you all agree with that? Oh, yeah. When your paycheck's coming in, it's a lot easier to get up, go to work, get in the car. It's 20 below. But sometimes when you're an employee, when you're an entrepreneur, it takes a different mindset. And so my role tonight is I want to help you understand the two differences, because it's going to serve you well for people that are looking to make the switch. You're going to identify yourself in the employee mindset here tonight. But what's more important is I want you to take notes and think about the people you're looking at bringing to your business, because when you understand their mindset better, it's going to be easier to relate to them. And so some of these you might not even be aware of because you just do it subconsciously. But once you're aware of how the mindset works for an employee, it's going to make it a lot easier for you to talk their language, so to speak. So why be an entrepreneur? Well, we already know this. It was talked about today, the ESB&I. On the left side of the quadrant, we get stuck there and we never really can get to some of the biggest goals and dreams, because in reality, the people that make the most income and wealth today own a business. Our industry happens to be very unique. We get to not only own a business, but we get to understand how to use the I quadrant. It's 2 for the price of 1. It's like the best business on the planet these days. And so also, why financial services? Well, we know it's a multi-trillion-dollar industry. So it's unbelievable how much we have to be able to access as a business and grow wealth through an incredible industry. And you'll all get a copy of these slides later on. How about ownership? We have all of this to build with experience. So why would you want to make that transition from employee to entrepreneur? Well, I'm giving you the reasons within this company as to why. You got the ownership we talked about today. I won't get into all the details. It was done so well earlier. And then again, the legacy ownership. So I just want to kind of help you understand why you want to make that shift, because there's so much to offer here once you figure out how to break out of an employee mindset into an entrepreneur's mindset. And so you start to access more and more. Would you all agree that as you elevate your game, as you elevate your thinking, as you elevate your skills, as you start changing from that sort of employee protected environment into more of an entrepreneur environment, would you all agree that you should be rewarded more for doing that? Yes or no? Yeah. Absolutely. Because why would you do it otherwise? If you couldn't make more money, why would you give up something safe and secure that you're used to and kind of is keeping you where you're at? We also know this, you can make part-time money here. So that might be your goal. So some people love their jobs. Not everybody wants to quit their jobs. Look at Julin. She's making a 6-figure income in nursing and a multi-six-figure income here. I mean, give me a break, right? I mean, best of all worlds. It's amazing, right? I don't even know how she does it. I see her every day. I'm just like, it's like bow to the queen, right? She's amazing. But, it's kind of funny to see that. Now you can make full-time income. Now this is where you can now easily or more easily make that shift from employee to entrepreneur. How many would agree that if 6-figure starts rolling in through your Xperia business, you pretty much start to look at leaving your job if you want to leave your job, right? Yeah. So it starts to happen at that phase. And then, of course, for the big dreamers, and the big visionaries, the big goal setters, Stephanie and I are big goal setters. I didn't get in this business, Jamie, to make 6 figures. I got in the business to take it much higher, but more importantly, help many other people get 6 figures. That would guarantee our future success. So again, the big vision people, that we have that as well. But check this out. This is what most employees, would look at as a business today. And so when I look at that, and they look at these franchise businesses for these kinds of big dollars, there's some big bucks up here. up to $3 million for Taco Bell. I didn't know you could eat that many tacos, 3.4 million to buy a Taco Bell. Crazy. Jersey Mike's, 145 to 700 grand, probably depending on location. I don't even know what Culver's is. Frozen custard. That's a thing. They have a franchise selling frozen custard. My good. They have one selling grits too. I wonder if they sell grits for a franchise. But a UPS store, 185 grand. There are employees that are willing to mortgage their home, their vehicles, their assets, sell their RSPs, cash in TFSAs to buy this kind of a business, and there's still risk there. And they may just replace their employee income. It's not guaranteed you're going to make big money. I've learned this lesson from running franchises. 1/3 make money, 1/3 lose money, 1/3 break even. Crazy, right? 1/3 make money, 1/3 lose money, 1/3 break even. Those are not great sets unless you're the big brand name franchises. So check out our business. Can you believe this? You can start our business for $500 to $600. Is that a risk as an employee? To me, that's not a risk at all. A risk would be leaving your job to start a major business, major entity for hundreds of thousands, possibly millions, and take on all that risk. And our monthly is $70 a month. What's it cost to run a storefront business these days? Is it $70 a month? Not even close. We're talking like $70 a day maybe, or $70 an hour some places. It's like 10, 15, 20 grand. I was just down in some stores, I'm sitting there. I look at these storefronts today. I'm like, oh my gosh, what's happened the last couple of years? Rory and I were taking a drive. And I said, Rory, can you imagine owning some of these stores? Like, how do they make it right now? I can't even imagine it. We have one of the greatest businesses on the planet. Check this out. I want you to read beneath these wonderful people's pictures. These are all the ring earners that we've been able to help out just in our own organization at the moment. But just read what's underneath their picture. Their what? Their previous what?
Their job.
Job. Where they were an employee. So what's the moral of the story? Everyone came out of an employee mindset eventually and had to go change their mindset, because that's what's really first offered to all of us out of university and out of school, for most of us, is to become an employee. Again, nothing wrong with it. It's awesome, but all these wonderful people came here. So let me shift gears. I'm going to give you 12 points how to identify employee mindset and how to identify the entrepreneur employee mindset and entrepreneur mindset, so you can understand both. Okay. So number one, employees think without starting. They tend to think a lot and think a lot and think a lot, and they never get started. Okay. Now there's reasons why, but they tend to want to learn everything first. How many of you ever come across someone like that? Need to know everything. Yeah, someone got, that's me. And then we're here. Yeah, that's me. That was me. That was me. Right. And entrepreneurs start without thinking. They don't waste time. They just jump in. They don't wait around to be perfect. They get on appointments. They get the license. They just start. We all love the people coming here with a bit of an entrepreneurial spirit. Man, it makes our job as trainers a lot easier, but not everyone's built that way. So we have to understand you got to think both ways. So again, some of them like to just learn everything first. You have to just talk to them the right way. You can't force people. Ease them into the business. Let them know it's okay, but show them the way, as they said, the leader shows the way, he teaches the way, and goes the way, right? So love that, Aurelia. That was awesome. They wait for the right timing. Anyone ever had those excuses? Oh man, it's just not the right time for me. Oh, I got to wait a little bit. Oh, I got to push this up. Well, I got the new baby. Oh, I got a new job. Or, things always change. They're kind of waiting for that perfect situation, and procrastination kills more dreams than anything else. The entrepreneur, on the other hand, they're excited. They go in spite of timing. They know that opportunities don't always come around very often, or the big ones only come around a few times in a lifetime, and they latch onto it. So again, we love those people. That's easy to work with. But again, how do you kind of overcome that mindset of timing? You got to work with them and say, hey, well, when you say it's not the right time, when do you think it might be the right time? How long have you been thinking on that? How long have you been wondering about that? So you got to be a little, able to work with them and understand their thinking. Just remember, they're thinking that. You got to understand how to kind of overcome that. And maybe a way to say it is, I felt the same way. I know how you feel. We use feel, felt, found. Know how you feel. I felt the same way when I was transitioning, but what I found was I could do both at the same time, and I could start slow and steady, right? So sometimes you got to have that ability to communicate to that person that has that mindset. Okay. Number 3, employees let fear stop them. Anyone stopped with fear before they got going here? Anyone have some fear along the way? Of course, employees tend to find comfort zone within their job, their income, and their work environment. It keeps them usually there for years. I've heard a lot of people say, Darren, one of these days I'm going to come work with you. One of these days it'll be the right time. I don't know. I still want to, if I fail, if I don't make it, so a lot of people here's a problem when they're kind of holding on. It's kind of like if you're going to go on a dive board, you can't dive and you can't be on the board at the same time. You got to either jump or just not jump at all. So it's the problem with a lot of people that have employee mentality is they're going to kind of half-heartedly try Experior. They're going to half-heartedly try a venture, but that usually ends up in dismal failure. So you have to have that conversation and say, listen, I understand how you feel. You know, I know a lot of people are hesitant to leave, but here's what we need to do. We need to actually make a major step here. And you got to know that you still have security. You can still work with us part-time. So I make that very clear to people. You can still keep your job, keep your security, but build the side hustle, build the side venture, okay? Obviously, the entrepreneurs, they use fear to drive them. They are more fearful of staying in a dead-end job and being there forever than they are maybe embarrassing themselves or getting some no's and things like that. They feel the fear and do it anyways, okay? They know rejection's temporary. So here's the cool thing. Employees eventually realize that as well. They start to feel the fear and they start to do it anyways as well. So it's a really, really good experience and process. But the entrepreneurs know failure is a teacher. So for those of you that are employee mindsets, understand failure is a teacher. It's not a bad thing, by the way. I have failed. Most of you saw a presentation of mine about a year ago. I failed so many times. Jamie thought he's like, I didn't even know how you succeeded. You had so many failures, right? But he was amazed at how many times I failed. But, you know, the Japanese say fall 7 times, get up 8, right? And so that's one of the expressions that I use to drive myself. So don't be afraid to fail. It's a natural occurrence. Employees dream their plans. They kind of have big dreams, lavish ideas, but they never really act on them. Okay. So what's needed is action to go from dreaming to doing and creating success. So why is that? Again, it's some of those fears, some of that comfort zone. And so again, you know they want that, but they got to figure out a way to get it. So what you have to do as a recruiter, as a builder, is you got to say, hey, man, listen, you know, I get it. I understand where you came from, man. It was really initially for me I was scared to death when I first got going in this business. But guess what? You'll figure it out. It's all good. You will get there. So you got to give them confidence. It's going to be okay. What I love to do is tell them where I feel they're going to be in 1 year. I was talking to Roy about that today. Like, imagine we're going to be in 3-4 more years. In 5 years, I said to Roy, in 5 years' time, you'll be a multi-6-figure income earner here, and you won't even be 25 years old. Right. And I know he will do that because that's the kind of kid he is. And I say kid, but I mean he's a young man. On the other hand, entrepreneurs will have a solid plan for shaping their dreams. They'll move forward with a plan. They'll get licensed. They'll set goals. They'll do the appointments. They'll just go do it. So, you know, moving people from that employee mindset into the entrepreneur mindset just takes a bit of time. Be patient with people. Sometimes you have to incubate, you know, sometimes you got the eggs, you got to have the heat on the eggs. It takes a while to incubate. That's why we have training sessions. That's why weekly you plug people in that are still not sure if they really want to make that jump. It's just human nature, folks. So don't rush that sometimes, you know. Sell the vision, show the way, lead the way, teach the way, and go the way, and they will follow you eventually. The fifth area of thinking is money is everything, right? They invest in their future growth by focusing on money. They look for safe returns. They have a tight grip on the present that kind of holds them back from the future. And so they're worried about that job, right? They're trying to get that extra little paycheck. They're trying to get that little bonus money. They're trying to just do their job to get that little extra money because they're just so scared of losing that paycheck. And that's a reality with people that have been employed a long time. It's normal. It's natural. It doesn't make them bad people. It's just the way it is. Entrepreneurs know timing is everything, not money. Timing is everything. You know, in business, you know, when you see timing, they shift their focus from money to time by giving ample time to grow their business. So the beautiful thing here at Experior is you can work this business part-time. See, you can keep the money and spend some time here and build it as well. See, that's what's very unique. See, if you had to go buy that franchise, you are risking everything. What if it doesn't work out? I had a franchise. It was a horrible franchise experience, lost all my money, lost other people's money, and then we had to go recover it later. We got it all paid back, but it was painful. It was very painful. So again, because we believe we're generating wealth and building wealth, we don't necessarily pay attention to the initial months. Just know your initial months here are not going to seem like they're sometimes very productive. You may get off to a slow start. Some people get off to a fast start. Congratulations. Hallelujah. You know, it sometimes happens, but some people get off to a slower start. What if it took you an extra 6 months to get to executive director than you planned? Is there anything wrong with that? What's wrong with that? How many years will you be an employee if you keep doing what you've always done forever, right? So again, just that mindset, you got to switch it. Number 6, with employees, frustration is permanent. You know, freedom from frustration depends on the way the person tackles it. employees know they have to go through the boring routine. That's what frustrates them. A lot of people get frustrated with their job. They start taking out on their kids, taking it out at home, get frustrated, leads to money, arguments and things like that. And they want more, but they're frustrated because they don't want to do more to get more. And so they get in this kind of a trap at their job. And so that's what makes people dissatisfied. I love satisfied employees because they're looking for something else or they want to do something. Now, the worst is when they don't do anything about it, but they want more. That's the definition of insanity, as we know. So frustration is temporary for entrepreneurs. And so I want to encourage you, if you've got that employee mindset, I want to encourage you right now to understand that frustration is going to be temporary. Frustration is also the fertilizer of champions. It's what we grow our champions in, okay? So remember that entrepreneurs will face those moments. It's temporary because they know in time the hard work will pay off, as we've seen. You look at all these leaders. Look at Michael today, look at the hard work he's put in growing his business, getting to his levels and becoming a six-figure earner, going and building his business. And, you saw a lot of other great leaders talk as well, but you raise up the leaders. They know their work will compound, so give it time. Number 7, employees are insecure about their freedom. They really are. Who doesn't want to live a life on their own terms? On one side, employees want to spread their wings and just go for it, but they're often held back by the insecurities. Again, it's sort of the fear, but the insecurity of the what ifs or the unknowns, right? Entrepreneurs, on the other hand, right? So this often holds the employees back, but the entrepreneurs free themselves from all their insecurities. They live life a bit on the edge. Again, the cool thing is you can live on the edge here and still keep what you got. That's the beauty of our industry. It's not like a normal franchise or big time business you invest and put all your eggs into and it's all on the line. There's really nothing on the line here. $600 and $70 a month when you're licensed. Is that a lot on the line, Chad? That's not a lot on the line, right? Hardly at all. More like that's nothing really. Like that's a few coffees a day. Like you cut out your Starbucks coffee for a month, you could pay for your monthly fees here, right? So again, we live on the edge, but they don't focus. It doesn't mean they don't focus on their commitments. They actually are pretty laser focused, but they push forward with their job and the business because we can do it part-time. So again, they're able to match and double up on both. Another one that employees find, they do work hard. Employees work hard, okay? They rub elbows to get in the boss's good books, do the good things. But when they start performing, guess what the bosses do? Pile them up with more work. No more pay, no recognition. And most times they have all that, maybe for some extra pay, but not usually, and very little recognition. So it's much easier to connect with those employees because they're like, man, when they see our recognition, like today, like this is pretty cool. Like they recognize their people, right? And so often they don't get advancement either. See, entrepreneurs know something different. They work smart. They're not into working hard per se. They're into working smart. Now, a lot of times working smart is working hard. However, when you work smart here, we classify our work. It's called Pareto's principle. We spend 80% of our time on the most important things that create the most result. Okay, so we know that by doing 20% of the work generates 80% of the results. So spend the majority of your time in the most important areas. Okay, don't major in the minors, they say. Major in the majors. Okay, so again, the challenge with some people is that they still dwell in the past. They kind of hold themselves back and they do all the wrong things. They want to learn everything there is to know about everything, like we talked about before. They want to perfect it before they move. They want to know it all before they start. And that's the wrong way to go. I found that with entrepreneurs, what they like to do is figure out what's going to get the biggest bang for the buck. So if you're a builder, it's building people, it's growing your team. If you want to be a big time producer, it's going to be learning the products and learning how to go and do that and sit in front of families. So you're going to learn that. So again, just understand that there's different ways to approach it and you got to work smarter, not harder. Employees fall into the particular job category. So they usually get caught into their respective positions and they kind of get stuck there again. So it's sometimes hard to get a person to kind of get out of that mindset. They're so used to doing a job. You got to remember, some employees have been there for 20 years. How do they get out of that sort of routine? And then the danger is they come here and there's no routine in a sense. They go full time with us, and we've seen some people come into our business and they have a great run for a while. And then they find out that, there's no schedule. And all of a sudden they're cutting grass in the middle of the day. They're running out and doing all their grocery shopping for 3 hours middle of the day during peak earning time, peak business time. So again, entrepreneurs understand that they have to be multitasked a little bit. You have to do a few more things. And so if you're used to that employee mentality, when you just do one task really well, just know you will be challenged to be a little bit more diverse here because this is an entrepreneur's business. So you are going to learn the financial, you are going to learn the building side, but here's the best part. You have teachers and trainers holding your hand literally almost every step of the way. Okay. So again, you get to enjoy that autonomy and independence, and that can be good or bad, right? That's why we have a system. So the nice thing here is employees don't need to be afraid because we run a system here. We have a startup system. We have a way to get your license. We have a way to get your promotion. We have a guideline of what you need to do. So just like in the normal employer world, we have a system here that you can follow. So that's what actually makes it easy to transition that employee mindset into an entrepreneur. Last couple ones here. Employees blame others. That's a common theme. It's somebody else's fault. It's the boss. It's the company. They're not giving me enough support. They're not getting me enough manpower. I need an assistant. Things like that. Easier to play the blame game when you're an employee, right? You've seen people in your company, I'm sure, do it. I'm sure none of you did it, but people always blame you or blame something else, or it's this, or it's the economy. It's somebody else's fault. And what happens is they don't get out of that blame game, and they end up just getting locked into it. And then they feel like they have no control of their life. And so what I love about an entrepreneur, I want to encourage you, is understand that, it's up to you to correct yourself. It's up to you to know your abilities and limits and then be able to identify it. So instead of suppressing mistakes, they're open to accepting their mistakes. They know that if they keep going, it's going to get better and better. Mistakes are a learning process. It's like failure. Failure is a great teacher. So a lot of employees start to go, oh, okay, it's okay to fail here. At your job, it's not okay to fail. It's not okay to screw up, right? Here, you've got some leniency, you've got some ability to make a few mistakes, run into some roadblocks because, being it's an entrepreneur's business, it doesn't kill your business. It's not going to get you fired. So it's okay to make a few mistakes. I didn't know everything. I remember missing signatures. I remember having the wrong paperwork. I remember submitting it the wrong way. I remember all kinds of mistakes I made. It's not the end of the world. And that's a beautiful thing to know up front. Last two, employees look at holidays as a relief. They are anxious for the holidays. They just can't wait to get out of the office because they don't really, enjoy it as much as they enjoy doing something for themselves. They plan the weekend trip before they face the boring Monday again. If that's you, get out of your job as soon as you can by building this business, right? So entrepreneurs take holidays and strengthen their beliefs. They plan out their business and they plan out the weekend. So when they get to Monday, they're cranking their business again. My wife and I love our weekends, but we're always planning to attack on Monday again, right? So we usually work most Saturdays, but I take Sundays off. That's my ritual. And then we go and attack Monday. So the distraction-free environment gives them a way to increase productivity. So entrepreneurs on the weekends are planning their attack on Monday, whereas employees are like, oh God, I got to go back to work on Monday. So, that's a good thing, by the way, because those people are dissatisfied. The last one here, employees break down after failure. Workers with an employee mindset lose their confidence in the struggling period. We see this a lot. We see a lot of sometimes employees come into our business and they struggle early on and they want to quit. And so failure is not really an option for an entrepreneur. So I'm going to encourage all of you, if you know someone who's a strong employee mindset, just understand some of these principles, know how to have a discussion with them, share how you got through them if you went through the same thing. And so know that every opportunity, there's opportunity in every failure. After getting knocked down, they don't lose enthusiasm. In fact, they get more excited because they know that they can improve and get better. The famous line here is, remember, some will, some won't. So what? Somebody's waiting, right? With that, at the end here, I just want to ask you all a question. Are you an employee or an entrepreneur? Technically, most of us are both. But now you know how they think. And with that, I wish upon you the greatest success in your life and experience, and use this as a platform to help you transition. If you're an employee today, moving from that area into the entrepreneur's world. And as you get to learn our world and get good at it, the sky's the limit. So with that, Jamie, Leanne, I just want to say a big thank you to all the speakers today, guys. Hey, listen, we got a big, big day tomorrow. Let's make the best of it. Woo!
Hey, if you like this video or any of the other videos that I have on my channel, stay tuned. We have so many more coming, but I want to make sure that you're in the know, that you know when they're coming. So please subscribe to this channel if you haven't already, and make sure you hit the notification bell.